Amidst the pandemic, the nation went in lockdown and all elective surgical procedures were withheld. The only procedures which were performed were emergency procedures, and the general surgical residents underwent reshuffling from their routine general surgical postings and were posted into COVID duties. Most surgeries were performed by senior faculty to reduce the exposure which would have otherwise been performed by surgical residents. This affected the training opportunities of general surgical residents. Our aim and objective was to evaluate the effect of COVID-19 pandemic on general surgical residents and practicing surgeons. What we did was, we did an online survey and circulated to around 300 residents and consultants in July 2020. Now, amongst these, the important questions that we asked in the survey were pre-lockdown workload, lockdown workload, concerns related to COVID-19, as in the perception of DeSkilling, production and training opportunities for residents, and extension of training programs. These are the results that we found out of the responses. The total responses received were 96, valid responses were 75, incomplete responses were 2, and other specialties were 19. Amongst the responders, there were 56 which were consultants and faculties, and 19 being general surgical residents. To the question if elective surgeries were performed, 50 residents and consultants, resulting in 66%, said that emergency procedures were performed and elective procedures were not done. Now, if you go through this, it's a diagram which would tell us as to the number of procedures performed per week by residents pre-lockdown and during lockdown. So, around 10 residents performed more than less than 7 procedures prior to lockdown, and around 8 residents performed procedures more than 14 prior to lockdown, whereas all 19 residents performed less than 7 procedures per week during lockdown. To the question of are you de-skilled, 51% felt severely de-skilled. 14 out of 56 consultants, that is 25%, felt de-skilled, where they requested for a colleague to accompany them for even minor procedures. To the question, should the training program be extended, 59% responded to extension of training programs would be helpful to them. And a similar survey was done in Belgium in 2020, where around 123 residents participated. 60% of the residents felt that their surgical training had suffered, but they were able to spend more time over research studies. Whereas 33% felt that the training had suffered globally, 60% felt that the training should be prolonged if measures continue, and 56% felt psychological strains as a result of pandemic. How do we overcome de-skilling? During lockdown, multiple forums were launched, including e-learning, group discussions, case discussion, mastering, suturing, knotting, instrument handling, teamwork, use of simulation models, and educating the educator. Our take-home message would be that a quarter of the residents felt de-skilled and had a lack of confidence to restart surgical procedures individually. Most of them agreed that surgical training programs for trainees have been gravely impacted. An extension of residency program and including the COVID-19 term as a bond period could be a positive way of moving forward. Thank you.
Any questions from the floor? Yes, we've got one question from Professor Parks.
Thank you very much. I think what you have reported very clearly is what has been identified and reported globally. There has been a reduction in elective operating, which has particularly impacted on training. But I'm really impressed by some of the positive things that you took out of it, and that you focused on a high proportion, the majority in fact, focused on some other activity other than just the technical skills. But the question I have is about the bonding. By that, do you mean mentoring? And that actually, although training's been impacted, there are ways and means of supporting those trainees as they move into independent practice through mentoring. Is that what you mean by bonding?
So what I wanted to say was, in India, how a resident lands up giving his exam, 6 posts of general surgery is what is considered. Whereas in foreign countries, what is considered is number of procedures which are performed. Right? You have to meet a particular number of procedures that are performed, and that's when you can go ahead as a to give your exams. Now, whereas in India, if I have completed my 3 years of residency, I am supposed to give an exam. What I did in those 3 years of residency is something that is not accounted for. By bond period, I mean we have a 1-year compulsory bond. For those people who pass from government colleges, we have to serve back for a year as a bond period, in which we would be working as senior residents in the respective departments or the respective hospitals allotted. So by including that 1 year, instead of putting that separately, the time period, we almost spent a year in COVID. So we could involve that period as a bond period, and the residency could be extended for a year more. That is the point of it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the time.